Board of Adjustment to order. I first begin by introducing my colleagues to you. To my far right is Peter Coffin. My immediate right is Larry Greenbaum, our vice chair. Far left is Richard Johnson. Chuck Hart is an alternate, but he will be sitting in on the hearing tonight. Mrs. Leone is unable to attend. To my immediate left is our clerk, Tammy Bakey, and I'm your chairman, Ellie Alessio. We have a couple of business items to take care of. First of all, I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the September 12th meeting.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Any corrections or omissions, errors or omissions? Okay, then all those in favor of approving the minutes as printed, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Ayes have it, meeting minutes are adopted. One of the action items we had from our last meeting was for me to contact our attorney, Peter Laughlin, regarding the proposed bylaws and procedures that we had put together for him. And he gave us his blessing. I did add, in the final copy I sent you a few days ago, I included the paragraph that you suggested we add about when an alternate fills in at a hearing, he or she should, if possible, continue on that hearing at a subsequent meeting. And Peter said that was a wise thing to do. He said, especially the phrase, when possible, or if possible.
Yeah, because you can't require somebody, but it's certainly a good idea.
Right. Those of us that are duly elected do not have to stand down, but if you'd like to let the other one continue, that's not a problem. So everything else stayed as we had reviewed it, so I just wanted to let you know that. I had given a final copy to Ellen Faulkner, and many thanks to her because she really did yeoman's work in helping us put this together.
Now, I notice it says as adopted September 12th. We voted to adopt it with those changes.
Pending approval by attorney.
Yeah.
And the change of, that's section 42D.
Yeah.
So we left the September 12th date on there since we did a...
Right, that was why I was asking, yeah.
That's what we did. That's why that date is on it,
yeah.
as opposed to tonight. So I just wanted to let you know that we're good to go.
And I did notice a couple of minor editorial things like capitalization of zoning board of adjustment.
We changed that.
In one place and not the other.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
and then there was also a reference here that to a law that actually has been changed since the other this document was started, I guess. But
could you send me an email on those two things?
yeah, I'll just send it to you because they're it's just a reference number. And
Okay, so it's really editorial changes.
It's editorial, has no content bearing at all.
If you would do that, then I can update
I was going to say I could leave that with Ellen. I'll just email it to you and to Ellen or something. And
That'd be perfect. That'd be perfect. Let's see, we still have a couple of minutes.
We want to vote on this now?
I don't think we have to, because we voted, I have it on, I wasn't sure whether there was going to be anything else to change, that's why I left it as an action item. But we really adopted at the last meeting pending approval by attorney.
Okay.
So we're all set. And editorial changes won't impact the intent at all. I know, isn't that great? You can have time for the preseason game or discussion if you want the talking heads.
No.
Okay. We got 2 minutes. Just to make us legal, you know?
And you already got the letters from Peter and from Robert?
Yes, we're all set. Yeah, that should take 5 minutes if that. It'll take me longer to read the legal notice. But I have a letter from Robert and I saw Peter yesterday and he said we're all set to go, that there was no problem with the Madison Ave. But you shouldn't have even asked me about it before we start the hearing.
Oh, well, no, I just wanted to... I meant you had them there so we could...
Yeah, we got it. Okay, I think we're ready for our first hearing this evening. Actually, technically our only one. Mr. Stephen Deshane from Chelmsford is representing Sean Fitzpatrick at 5 Madison Avenue. It's a public hearing whereby the applicant seeks a special exception for an accessory dwelling unit under Article 206, Section 2064 of the Town of Kingston zoning ordinance. Mr. Deshane, is he here? No? And Mr. Fitzpatrick?
Moving right along.
Okay, I mean, it's really a pro forma.
We don't have to have them here to do it.
You do not have to have them there, and you need to know that Mr. Stewart and Mr. Broderick have both signed off that the specs meet the
Dimensional
specs in the law.
Yeah, the only thing I was going to ask, is it internal, or do you know if, in the plans if it's internal or if there's additional?
It's right here, if you want to
okay.
take a look at it.
As long as we're going to sign off on this. Holy moly, what is that? It's a rectangle. It must be septic.
Okay, I mean, we don't really need to know that, I think you're more curious, but it's,
Yeah, and I'm kind of, oh, okay. It's the garage at the top,
okay.
so, detached
Did
ADU.
you have a question?
It
You need to
appears,
come to a microphone, I can't, if you want to ask a question, you need to come to the table, state your name, your address, and your question.
and this is part of the public meeting, so you can take a look.
First of all, tell me your
Sandra
name,
Lucia, 29 Exeter Road.
okay?
So,
So,
it
okay.
it appears to be a two-bay garage with a second floor. And now, as far as if you have a homeowners association or anything else, we have nothing to do with that, but.
No, we don't.
it-
No, and as long as they meet the specs
Of the town.
of the regulation, then we
Yes,
really
it
don't
is.
have any
Okay.
issues on it.
Yeah.
And we have verification from both the building inspector and health inspector that they meet the
Here it
specs.
says garage and basement floor plan, and that's the upstairs.
Okay. Thank you.
Now you know as much as we do.
Now I-
There being no other factors, do I have a motion to approve the special exception for 5 Madison Avenue?
I make a motion to approve the special exception for 5 Madison Avenue.
And I'll second that.
Okay, so it's a special exception to approve the ADU.
Except to approve the ADU. I'll move it, second it.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Ayes have it. Okay, next hearing, Bluestone Investment Group, 4 Marshall Road, Kingston, tax map R33, lot 21. It's a public hearing whereby the applicant seeks a 1-year extension request for a variance previously granted by the ZBA on November 9th, 2017. The variance is to Article 208, Section 5B1 little b, to permit the construction of a market-rate, age-restricted housing project. This project has received conditional approval from the Kingston Planning Board and is currently awaiting the required permits at the state level to begin construction. And could you identify yourself, please?
Sure, Barry Geyer with Jones Beach Engineers for the applicant.
Okay, and Mr. Gar had sent me a letter requesting that we extend the variance.
Correct. As you said, we received a variance to allow the market rate age-restricted housing on the 4 Marshall Road property. About 2 years ago, we've been through the planning board process, have received conditional approval. We are currently awaiting some of our state permits in order to start construction. So we are moving forward. It has been slow. There have been issues, but we've ironed most of them out and are just waiting for our state permits to start construction. So we would request an extension, a 1-year extension to the variance so that we can complete the project.
Variances need to be implemented within the 2-year window. But it does not say that we cannot extend it. I think that a year is an outside window. I think we might want to consider more restrictive beyond that, because we've had one other situation where I think it was 2 or 3 years and it lapsed.
Yeah, but that.
He's well within his rights to ask for extension.
Oh, yeah, no, and it's, the period hasn't expired in this case, like
It doesn't
last.
expire till November.
Right, and, remind me, the variance was, I know that back then it was 4 lots, and those lots have been
Correct.
combined.
It was originally 4 lots that were subdivided maybe a year prior.
Right.
The 4 lots have been combined into 1 lot, which is just under 18 acres, where the
Oh, that
variance
was what it
requires 20 acres for the market rate age restricted.
And that 2-acre difference was what we granted the variance for.
Correct.
So, I think it's time, if I understand some of the correspondence you and I had, 6 months may not be a big enough window in order to make sure they get the requirements.
We sure hope it is. More permits from the state, but they move at their own pace, so it's very difficult to anticipate some of them.
Does it actually, was your request stating 6 months? Because
We actually requested a year.
They asked
a year, okay, that's,
Yes.
and I'm inclined to make the motion now if you're akin to it, if you're open to it. And I would make it for a year. I'll move that we extend the variance granted in November of 2017 to extend to November 9th of 2020. And the reason being that you've had some bureaucratic holdups, not in town, but with the state.
Correct, yeah. We've had,
Any updates by the way?
Wait a minute, let's have a second on that
Okay.
motion first.
Yeah, we do have our AOT. We did receive our DOT permits, which was a big hiccup. Originally, the project was to have 2 driveway permits, 2 driveway entrances on the Marshall Road. We subsequently found, after much debate with the state, that they're only allowing us to have 1, which, as you know, reconfigured our whole project, which is kind of why we're behind on this project. We're still waiting on the state subdivision permit, which should be granted very shortly. They kind of changed their policy, so we had to dig a couple more test pits, which was just done recently. And then the community water system permit is kind of based upon the state subdivision, so they all kind of line up, but we should have those soon, fingers crossed. But we are moving forward. It's not like this is a project that is stalled and we're just asking for the extension to continue this stall. Wants to break ground as soon as possible.
So 2 years enough then?
Yes, a year will be sufficient.
Can we get a second?
Yeah, Larry seconded
Okay.
as well. Any other questions for Mr.
No,
Graham?
it's the state that's holding them up, nothing to do with us.
Did the gentleman in the audience want to add anything?
That's settled.
Oh, yeah. Okay, is there any further discussion? All those in favor of granting the request to extend to November 9th, 2020, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Ayes have it, you're good to go.
Thank you, and thank you for all your help, Madam
Not
Chair.
a problem. We're glad to do it. All right, any other business to come before us this evening? We already took care of the bylaws. I think we can adjourn at 7:12.
You need to